In Jersey, as in many places in Europe, there are accusations of witchcraft. Here we focus on some of the people who are tried for witchcraft in Jersey. We know of at least 66 trials identified by Balain. These took place in Jersey between 1562 and 1736. Of these trials, 33 people were condemned to die, 8 were banished from the island, 12 were released with a severe warning, 5 were completely acquitted, 2 died before trial, and the fate of the other 6 is unknown. Most of the trials are recorded in the Cour de Catel, and each entry is short. Anyone could be accused of witchcraft, old or young, rich or poor, male or female. If you are thought to be engaging in acts inspired by worship of the devil, or to have caused malice to others by the use of the powers given to you by the devil, you are likely to be accused and sent for trial. Jean Murat, who was tried in 1585, claimed that he had made a contract with the devil by mark and pact. This he confirmed by a pledge and by a gift of one of his limbs, said to be possibly a finger or toe. He was accused of having committed infinite mischief crimes and homicides, and was condemned to death. Simon Vaudin of St. Brelade confessed in 1591 to having had familiar intercourse with the devil in the form of a raven and a cat. The said Simon was supposed to be of great evil. This was testified to by several witnesses. His sentence was to be tied to a post, strangled, and then burned until the body was reduced to ashes. His property and goods were then forfeit to the crown, in this case Queen Elizabeth I. In 1591, the royal court issued a proclamation in December. It said that consulting a witch for any purpose, medical or otherwise, was as bad as practicing witchcraft yourself. Therefore, the penalty would also be equal: a month in the castle on a diet of bread and water. The proclamation reads,
"Whereas many have, in days gone by, committed the heinous sin of seeking aid in time of trouble from warlocks and witches, a thing contrary to the honour of God and his express command, and a grievous insult to the Christian faith, and to those whose duty it is to administer justice, and whereas ignorance is no excuse for sin, and no one can tell what depravity and danger may ensure from such practices, in order that henceforth all may turn from these wicked and devilish cures, the use of which merits, by God's law, the same penalty as is inflicted on warlocks and witches themselves, and that God's wrath may be averted, which now threatens the officers of justice. Because of the impunity with which these crimes are committed, all who dwell in this island are strictly forbidden to receive aid or advice in trouble from witches or warlocks, or anyone suspected of witchcraft, under pain of a month's imprisonment in the castle on dry bread and water, with the reservation that they must declare in court their excuse for such effrontery, and according as this shall appear reasonable, be dealt with as God's law directs."
In 1611, Perrine Alexandre was incarcerated in the castle, but exploited a flaw in the court system. The 24 male jurors had to be approved by the accused. However, the accused had the power to reject any jurors that he or she considered unsuitable. If a juror was rejected, the accused went back to the castle until another juror was selected. Perrine kept rejecting the jurors and therefore could not be tried. She withstood the meagre diet for over a year until the court let her off with a severe warning in 1612. Another method of deciding if someone was a witch was to find the devil's mark. This was a special mark, generally of a bluish colour, and given by the devil to his followers. The mark was said to be impervious to pain and would not bleed when pricked with a needle or a pin. If it did bleed, the accused was usually sent to the castle for further investigation. The mark could be found anywhere on a witch. Marie Enouf, aged 58, granddaughter of the former rector of St. John, was accused in 1648 by more than 60 witnesses, and a mark was found upon her. Chronicles of the time report the search for the mark. She was shaved by a surgeon, and when no mark was found on her body, she was ordered to open her mouth. In there, on her palate, the devil's mark was at last located. Then she was pricked with a lancet, but stated that she felt no pain. These two signs, and the written allegations of the witnesses, were enough to convict her, and she was sentenced to be hanged, then strangled, then burned in the marketplace. Witches acquitted. Not all the accused were found guilty. Once acquitted, the accused were expected to walk in the path of the Lord. This example from 1606 relates to two of the Grandins.
Because the jury of 14 men has not totally charged Marie Grandin, Elizabeth Grandin, nor Marguerite Lecain of the charge of sorcery in such number as required by the law to proceed to the punishment that such crime merits. The said Marie, Elizabeth, and Marguerite are released from the castle with the order that they must not travel about the island, nor to houses, nor threaten or disparage anyone on pain of being taken as guilty of the said crime and punished accordingly. They are exhorted to live in fear of God, to serve him, and to live in peace and concord with their neighbours, working honestly to earn their living, in order that by good and honest behaviour they should make a good account of themselves and put an end to their bad reputation.
Ecclesiastical Court. In 1736, Marie Godfrey, wife of Etienne Machon of St. Saviour, was brought before the ecclesiastical court for dabbling in the forbidden arts and unveiling things that are hidden. She promised to abstain from such practices in the future and to disclose the names of anyone that consulted her for this purpose. Another common belief of the time was that witches could fly. For witches to fly, it is said that they needed a special mixture known as the black lotion. In Jersey, this was known as verjus au diable, or juice of the devil. The list of ingredients for the black lotion are so toxic that it's surprising that anyone survived the experience. The lotion includes such dangerous items as aconite, which is taken from members of the buttercup family. These include wolfsbane and monkshood, which is highly toxic and creates a burning sensation when swallowed or applied to the skin. Also, hemlock and deadly nightshade were used. To this and other ingredients, soot was added to make it black, as well as the fat of a baby, which was apparently an essential ingredient. The lotion was applied all over the skin and created a feeling of great heat and of lifting into the air. Protecting the home against witches or those who seek to do you harm has long been a tradition in most parts of the world. Much superstition has grown up around the subject. Witches' seats can be found on many old houses in Jersey. The stones that jut out from the roof of a cottage are usually found somewhere near the chimney. These are supposedly the resting places for flying witches, so that they would not seek to enter your house. In reality, they were used to help to keep the thatched roof on, but the idea of the witch's seat still remains. Another device used to protect oneself from witches was the witch ball. The idea was that a witch would be attracted by the shiny surface and enticed inside the ball, where she would not be able to escape. These are supposed to be the origins of the Christmas tree bauble. The records of the Cour de Catel and others found at Jersey Archive give a fascinating insight into witchcraft. We hope that in this short time we've been able to give you a flavour of what happened to some of the people in Jersey that were unfortunate enough to be accused.